Of course, bigger companies, there's a lot of bureaucracy coming from the top. But for maybe smaller size companies, like, it's not that way. But I think in America here, our own workforce diversity is just like, there's a lot of diversity. Race.
Age is not a factor.
Age is not a factor. Yeah, age is not a factor. So you see from young people to old people.
There's more benefits here.
There's more benefits here.
You say you had pension.
In Nigeria, I had pension.
Okay, I think I have pension, but I've not used it ever.
Yeah, me too. And I didn't
know
how...
the age for using it in Nigeria pension? Welcome to Life As We See It podcast with A&A, where we bring you organic, relatable, authentic, and life-inspiring stories about faith, relationship, and social interactions. And as usual, today we have
Zuki.
Zuki, welcome. Yeah, so if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much. And if this is your first time viewing this channel, please press the subscribe button. We appreciate you. So today we have another interesting episode. And the topic for today is working in America versus working in Nigeria.
Yes, I think we've done a lot of these episodes where we're trying to draw parallels between life in Nigeria and life in America.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think having worked in Nigeria, I worked in Nigeria. So after graduation, without saying anything about my age or whatever, but graduated many years ago and then worked in corporate Nigeria for, let's see how many years. I worked in corporate Nigeria for 6-7 years.
Nice. That's a long time.
Yes, it's a long time. I worked in a bank. Yep, yeah. I worked in a bank. I was a chemical engineer who graduated and then got a job in a bank. Banks were recruiting.
I know, it's mostly like, but I feel like I was telling somebody like Nigeria, whatever you do, whether you do science, engineering, at the end of the day, you just come out and work in a bank. Sometimes it doesn't even matter like what you study.
Yeah. What about you? What was your journey?
My journey was, my first job was actually in an accounting firm in Nigeria. Yeah.
Okay. How many years did you work there?
I didn't stay for too long, maybe less than a year there. Okay. Yeah, it wasn't too long. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's good. Corporate Nigeria is fire. Like
fire.
I'm comparing. I worked in corporate Nigeria for about 6-7 years, and I've been in America for how many years now? And within those years, I've worked in corporate America. This will be my 8th year, going into my 8th year. So I would say similar number of years. And so the difference is
clear. So which one? Where do you work harder, in Nigeria or America?
Good question. I think we have all of those differences listed here.
Let's dive into that.
Yeah, let's dive into it. So, drawing a parallel between both culture. Let's start with working harder, right?
Okay.
So I realized that there's a lot of emphasis here, a lot of talks on work-life balance in America, right? So it wasn't until I came and started hearing about work-life balance, work very hard, or like have a balance between your work life and your personal life so that you are stable, right?
Stable, yeah.
There's a lot of talk about it here, but I feel like the work-life balance is very poor. Even with the awareness of it.
Yes.
It's so poor. But if you compare it to Nigeria, when I worked in Nigeria, there wasn't a lot of talk about it. We just knew that, I think maybe it's one of these new terms or terminologies that are creeping up. But in Nigeria, I never heard about work-life balance. However, there was what I consider work-life balance. I had work-life balance.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Because like nobody expected you to come on a Sunday, right? Yes. People would just be like, oh, they're going to church, or maybe Friday they're going to mosque if they knew like you're a Muslim, right? And Saturday people would just go to weddings, right? I know that for shift jobs like nurses work, but like it wasn't an expectation
in Nigeria. Yeah.
But here you can work Saturday.
You can work Saturday,
Sunday. Even be your normal schedule.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. And I guess for people who work shifts where they work Saturday, Sunday, maybe during the week they are off. Yes. So they can still have work-life balance even though they work weekends, right? In that regard. But I think in Nigeria, let me just go back to Nigeria, even though we didn't work weekends, right? We had our most weekends off. during the week as well, even though you're at work, you can still do some other personal things. Like,
Yes,
I remember then
people had plenty
people
side
had
jobs.
time. So now I worked in a bank. So in a bank, most times we work long hours. So we work long hours. So you can go to work because I lived on the mainland. Our office was an island. So I'll leave the house at maybe 5:30 a.m.
Yeah.
Traffic. I'll get to work like 7:30, right? And then a lot of times on your offer letter, they will say 5 o'clock is close of business, but you never leave 5 o'clock. Why wouldn't you leave? Because your boss is still in his office working, right?
You know,
your manager is still around.
My boss actually said to me, and I think the first time he said there's no closing hour. That the work that you're expected to do that day, if you have not finished it, you're not going
anywhere.
Right? But yeah, once my time come up, he's up. I'm like, okay, I'm going home. You understand? Yeah. Except in like very urgent cases where you have to really stay back and work. But in Nigeria, it was an expectation that you have to finish. Whether you finish 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, no one cares. So like you have to.
So the truth is that it might look like we're contradicting ourselves, but what we're trying to say is that, right, even though you might spend long hours at work, you're not necessarily working for all of those hours. You can still be stripping in some of your personal stuff. Like for instance, when I worked in the bank, sometimes during my lunch break, I actually go to the market. My office was around Lagos Island, so Balogun Market was close by. So I can take 2-hour lunch break sometimes.
The market is big,
I know, yeah. Go to the market, go do some of my shopping, and so that save me so that weekend I have my weekend. Yeah, I used to do some personal stuff like.
And you go back to the office.
Hey. Because we didn't have like here where we have like in America, you have like OKRs, you have well-written KPIs. I mean, in Nigeria we had KPIs, but who was really tracking it? I feel like appraisals back home was a little bit very subjective.
As long as you show up and they like you.
So long as you show up and your manager likes you, somehow you work hard, but there's still some politics.
There's no
like there.
Like solid metrics to measure like your performance or anything or your productivity.
Unlike here,
just be available when you need something. Yeah.
So like then in Nigeria, I remember when where I was working, right, on the floor where I was, my team, right, stayed on this side and that team stayed on that side. So we stayed on the same floor as our MD. So our MD came out one day and looked at my team. We're still there because my manager was still working and we're all still there in front of our computers pretending we were working. And then the MD was like, wait, how come you guys are still here and the other team, there's no other person in that area of the office? Where are they? We're like, they've gone home. He said, how can they be going? How can they be home? And that was around past 7, like 7:30. It was like PM. It was almost like, why would they be? Because he's the MD, he's still in the office, my manager is still there. So why would, so it's just, there's just this culture, unwritten rule where you just have to be in the office, even when you're done with what you're doing. Just there, but then you have time.
Forming
doing
busy.
eye service, forming busy. But you can still be doing your personal stuff. But in America, if you're spending that long hours at work, you're actually working and you're working overtime. You're working overtime,
which is
Yes.
But it has to be for a good reason, not that you're finished your work and you're just lingering around.
And I feel like here in America too, a lot of times you work even beyond your work hours. You go home, you still carry work home. Even if you're not working actively on the computer, you're still thinking about like right now I have some projects I'm working. I'm like, okay, how do I Monday? Who do I need to reach? Like you're just constantly working. Like your brain is just working
because of that performance. Performance based.
That performance based. Yes, the work here is so performance based. Yeah,
okay.
And that leads me to the next thing: culture. The work culture are different. Corporate culture in America is different.
Yeah. Okay. What do you mean by that, though?
Yeah, I think it values individualism.
Okay.
Innovation. Just being your own person. Right, efficiency, unlike in Nigeria where it's almost like a group thinking kind of thing. There's no, if you stand out too much, your bosses might become threatened. Why are you talking? Why are you doing too much? Right.
I like it here. I like you bring out like innovation. I like the fact that you can question things. Because I feel like back our culture, they hate people asking them questions.
Oh my goodness.
If you ask somebody a question, it's like you're trying to challenge them. You're trying to bring them down. You're doing it to embarrass them. But here they welcome questions. They're like, thank you for having
opposing
a
opinion
attitude. Like you're questioning something because you really want to know, right? It's not because you're trying to be annoying or just so and that leads to innovation because you don't want people to always agree to whatever you say as the boss. If you are the boss, does not mean you can do it all, right? Doesn't mean you are the best, right? You still need people on your team that can say, hey, this is such a good idea, but have we considered this? these are the pros, these are also the cons of this particular venture we're about to get into. And I like that about this system.
That's totally true. And I think for me, I still struggle with that's questioning, because I think sometimes I'm like, you want me to do, you say, okay, let me do it this, so I don't want to question. But I agree with you,
because it's easier, because also you feel like when you question something, I don't want to
shake the table, I don't want to roughen things up.
Not shake the table also too. Sometimes it can be uncomfortable. You yourself, it's uncomfortable to you, but there sometimes it's like, I need to question this thing, right? You understand?
Yeah, so, it's good. I agree. Yeah. And this society encourages it. So if you're someone like that, it's easy for you and you make strides. That's why people get promoted. Like they can go from one level to the other just because of that. That's,
and also
mentality
small
of
things like the value of speaking up in meetings.
Yes.
Like Nigeria, you can even be there, you not say anything, nobody will, they'll still pay your salary. You're there, you're a figurehead, you're there. Yeah. But here they value you come to a meeting, you're not just
contributing.
There, you're contributing, you are asking questions, you are speaking up, you understand?
Yes. Your voice is heard.
Your voice is heard. Yeah. So that's another thing that I had to like wiggle out of my own mentality when I came here and be like, you need to speak up in meetings. You need to talk.
That's true. I like that mentality, that mindset. Another thing I noticed is work environment in terms of working space, right? When I worked though in my company, then our manager had his own office, so he had a door, like a real office where he closed the door, and then the rest of us stayed in like I don't want to call it cubicle.
It's not cubicle, okay.
Maybe it's I don't know, should I call it cubicle or just like a desk? And then we just, it wasn't completely open floors, because in between the open floors, you still have offices where managers stayed in, and then the rest of the team stayed outside the manager's door, right? But coming here to America, girl, everything is like, when you come into the floor, you just see cubes all the way, even managers. The only places where you see like separate meeting rooms are meeting rooms. So there are meeting rooms where if your group team wants to have meeting, of course they can't meet in your cubes, you're going to a meeting room, right? But other than that, everyone, manager, even MD, the MD of my big company, he sits in a cubicle. I heard even on Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, like, these people sit in cubicles, like they're so accessible. It's just such opened up policy, but it wasn't that way in Nigeria.
Nigeria closed door policy.
Our MD occupied the, like, which floor?
Penthouse.
The penthouse, like the
Before God. You even go there, the question you want to ask has disappeared from your.
I'm telling you. So I like that, and that opened also as for communication, accessible,
because that's like what leadership is about.
Exactly,
right? So,
exactly. Ease of accessibility. Another thing is communication style. Here communication is direct. You say what you mean what you say. When it comes to addressing people, you don't have to call them by their last names. You call them on a first name basis. I think Nigeria is also that way. Or my bank, then I worked in.
Was it first name basis? I'll be surprised.
Access Bank was ahead of its time.
Wow.
I worked in Access Bank many years ago. Then in fact, that was the first time coming from university and starting to work there. And even our MD, we called Ig Imokwede was the MD. Then we called him by name. We called our managers, but I was like, okay, this is new to me.
That's interesting.
But that was Access Bank who were way ahead. And I think Nigeria were just trying to implement that culture. Then when I moved to another bank, even though they were doing first name basis, it wasn't as free, because I knew there were some women. They had a lot of women in the executive position. They called them by their first name. And if both of you are mates, you call them, you even curtsy.
Auntie or Mrs.
Mrs. Actually, our general counsel, she was a woman. Hey, you have to call her Mrs. Then her last name. And then even when you greet her, you can't just stand. There's this Yoruba culture, you have to like bow down or curtsy. It's not, there's no hard and fast rule, but they are just unspoken rules. So you can still greet her. And people who used to greet her by like not curtsy, maybe call her by her first name, she didn't like them. So she would just, but if you greet her well, she'll say, hey,
you're not humble.
Yeah, she said, the girl is not humble, but in America here it's different. Like
it's level playing ground.
Whatever. You're the MD, you call them by their name, communicate, Another thing is decision making. I feel like here decision making is fast. Things get done quickly. Of course, bigger companies, there's a lot of bureaucracy coming from the top, but for maybe smaller size companies, like, it's not that way. If you need to make a change, let's just do it. Maybe there could be some change control boards where you have to go and present whatever you want to change. But best believe that when they come together and they look at it, okay, this makes sense, that makes sense, you get your approval, things move. But in Nigeria, maybe not so. Before you can make a change, it's like, what?
Change.
The politics. The politics in it. You know, like, why do you need to change it? You need this person. You need it was just difficult. Another thing is employee benefits.
There's more benefits here.
There's more benefits here in America.
For 1K, you say you had pension.
For 1K. In Nigeria, I had pension.
Okay, I think I have pension, but I've not used it ever.
Yeah, me too. And I didn't know
What's the age for using it in Nigeria pension? What was the age? The age, you know, here now is like 65.
The age. I think in Nigeria, was it not 50?
Okay.
I don't know. But it's not as organized as 401k. Like here, you have 401k, you have IRA, you have
health too.
You have health benefits.
That's another thing. I heard some companies too are now having all these HMOs, but it's not widespread like that.
Yes, they also pay for like short-term disability. Yeah, there's a lot of benefits, I think.
I feel like in Nigeria, I
there's
feel like it's just
stock benefits. Yeah, stock benefits.
In Nigeria.
No, here. My company, they give stock, but in Nigeria, there was no stock. Even though our bank was publicly traded, but we didn't have stock options.
Yeah. There's just more that you benefits, get more. Do you feel like the salary is higher? Or is the same?
Yes, when it comes to pay, salary here is higher, definitely. If I convert our salary here to naira, like, we'll be balling hard.
You pay taxes now.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
and you have to live here.
You have to live here where you pay bills come monthly, you pay mortgage monthly, all those things. So the money comes and it goes. It comes and it goes. So
it's coming.
I'm telling you, it's so funny that when you get to a certain income bracket, Amaka, you know, some people pay 60%, some people pay over 50% tax.
That's why I'm like, is it discouraging you from making more money?
I know. There are people who just tell themselves, you know what, I'm not going to go past this educational level because there's no way. If I go beyond this and I start making more, the government is taking more. So
Uncle Sam is collecting.
What's the use of working hard? But the good thing is they're taking that money and they're managing, they're giving to the poor, to the less privileged, to
infrastructure, they put amenities.
You're seeing it. That's the good thing about this.
And they pay you, you enjoy your salary, but you don't get the benefit.
You don't get the benefit.
You still have to drive on bad road.
Oh my God.
So I guess it works for some people. Whatever you decide you like.
That's true. But I think benefits definitely is better here. Okay. Benefits is definitely better. Then the last one I think is work diversity.
Work diversity. Oh my gosh, I was going to talk about like age. Oh my goodness, I feel like Nigeria, oh my God, they're so discriminated against age. Like you see, not in age, they won't come out and say, oh, below whatever age. There were some jobs then. I know when I was looking for jobs, they'll be like, you have to be 24 years. Must have 1 year experience. I'm like 24. When did best finish NYS? How many years experience? I get expected from me 24. And how many 24? Old. So what happened? Why can't I work if I'm 30? Like, why can't I do the job if I'm 30? Why do you have to have like an age bracket there? Or even if they don't put it, but when you go for an interview, they just see your face.
No, so in resume in Nigeria, you have to put your age. Remember then?
Oh, it's true.
You put your age, you put your marital status.
Your marital status?
Yes, now.
Is it a badge of honor?
That's what I'm saying. When you say married, Nigeria, you put your age, you put your marital status. What else do you put?
You
put your local government, you put your states of origin.
But why do those things matter?
But you know what? I feel like it's for affirmative action.
Affirmative action.
Yes, affirmative action. Because I feel like in Nigeria then, the Northerners they don't go to school much.
Yeah.
And even those that go to school don't have as much opportunities as the Southerners. So I think maybe to make it a level playing field or ensure that every tribe is represented, they want you to put your states and your local government. That one I can say.
They were trying to do that. They were
probably
trying to be diverse.
What I'm saying now is just.
But which one is marital status?
Marital status and age, I have no idea.
Okay. Because that age when I'm like, age.
I know. And then you can't even, most times, with all the strikes, a lot of people now graduate even later.
Okay.
And they now put a clause again for NYSC. You can't serve after 30.
30, yes. I knew that one. I was like
they just make things difficult for people.
But if somebody did not have opportunity to go to school, they now went to open university. They now want to now serve. Why deny them the opportunity?
And then without serving, you can't get a job.
It's true.
Yeah. So Nigeria,
So if
I
I
feel
go
like
to open university at 40 now, 44, let's say, I come out, so, and I don't serve, I can't get a job. So what would I do with my education?
So now they said if you don't serve, they will give you
Certificate.
a different kind of certificate to say you couldn't serve because of your age, right? But there has to be a reason why. I think
because of age now.
I think, but then again, they'll say that. But when you go to companies, most companies will say, okay, we need to see that. You know how rigid sometimes our system can be. There's no. They just make rules and don't. Everything doesn't gel. You know,
it's not very equal.
Not cohesive. Yeah,
it's not very equal.
Yeah, exactly.
Equal-minded. Yeah,
that's true. I never thought about when I talked of workforce diversity. I never thought about it in the terms of age. But you're right, age.
Oh yeah, age.
A lot of young
people.
people.
A lot of people.
Yeah,
that's
true.
Like, yeah.
But I think in America here, our own workforce diversity is just like there's a lot of diversity. Race.
Age is not a factor.
Age is not a factor. Like there's race. No, I think it. Yeah, age is not a factor. So you see from young people to old people. A guy in my team has been on my team since 1980. He's been in the company, not my team because I just joined the team, but he's been in the company since 1980.
No, that's
like 45 years. 44 years he's been in the team and he's still working, like contributing.
Kill cow for him.
Contributing actively, or like he's still deciding, do I want to retire now? Do I not want, because retirement age here is 65.
Yes.
And I think
you can decide
if you don't want to. So yeah, old people have a voice here, even in the workforce. It's not like, oh, you're old, you don't have then different races, different.
They say you're old, go and rest.
You have lived out your life.
Go and rest.
What else
what
you
are you looking for again? I'm like, when I came, I'll see 70-year-old person still working, going at least going to school,
looking for a second career path self. They'll be like, I want to start my second career.
Nigeria, they'll just say, please, you have lived your life, go and rest.
No, once you hit 50 in Nigeria, it's like, okay, you have reached your...
Let's move the next generation.
Your time is up.
Well, no, oh my God. Like that. Yeah. Okay.
But I think overall, though, for me, if you ask me, which did I prefer? I think I was my freest back home.
Yeah, because you can do that.
I was my freest. I feel like, when they say second, like African American call it code switching, right? Code switching, where like amongst your people you can talk, you are free, like you use your slangs, but when you go into a white space, you conform so that they don't see you as different, right? So I feel like I do a lot of code switching in that regard at work.
And you don't like it.
And I don't like it, right? In Nigeria, I didn't have to do that. This is me. There was a time when I'll be talking, I was like, like you want to say, because Abi, Shebi, but you can't say that because they are Igbo people, they don't even know what you're saying, and the manner of communication, the social engagement, like how you have to come into a meeting, the small talk, making jokes, and even when you don't understand the joke or it's not funny, you shall have to laugh just to show that you are sociable and that you're a team player.
Yeah, a team player, yeah.
I didn't have to do all of that in Nigeria. I was it's just different. So if you ask me, there's so many good aspects of here where things just work.
I feel like also like boundaries were not like, there was no clear discrepancy between, because my work friend used to leave work and they will go to mainland together, like even on the weekend to hang out. Like my work friends were like my friends. Yes. They became later my friends. Do you understand? There was no like clear clothes like this. Nobody's trying to be competitive or rat you out. There's that feel like, as to an extent, I'm sure there are some, but like from my own experience, like my friends at work were just like collaborative, working together. It wasn't super competitive, right? And it also goes back to that American thing of performance.
Yes, work environment here is very competitive. That's one thing we don't mention compared to Nigeria here, because again, they are judging you based on your OKRs, your KPIs, your objectives. Like, there are things you need to check. So it can be competitive. Everyone is at their A game, and I think it is good. Right, we're paying you salary. Give it your productive. All. When I was in grad school, I thought, okay, after grad school, like you're just studying, you're like, when you start working, because me, I'd worked in Nigeria, so I was like, when you start working, you realize, no, here work, especially depending on the depends on the, what's it called? On
Where
the
you're
type
working.
of work, where you're working, or the sector. It can be very competitive where you are still reading, trying to take more courses, learn more. Learning is, your brain is constantly working. So So what about you? Where would you prefer working here? Which did you prefer?
I like both too. I like the I think like America, I like the innovation. Me, I'm very I can be sometimes individualistic. So some of my thoughts sometimes have found to be different. So I like a place that encourages innovation, that encourages change, that promotes. And I like to ask questions personally. I like to ask questions, but I found out that Nigeria, it wasn't always welcomed. Some people view it as threatening. So but I love places that encourage questions, because I do have a questioning attitude. I'm very curious. I want to know.
That's good.
Right? So I like that about the American environment, that promotes innovation, welcomes questions,
and individuality,
wants to be able to see things differently. And welcomes other people's opinions, whether it's opposing or whether it's supporting. I like that.
Okay.
And so I like Nigeria too. Yeah, like you said, it was free. I could do stuff I wanted to do.
I can speak my language. I can say Shebi, Abi. I can go shopping during lunch break.
Don't let that catch you again. I don't know. Let you go.
It wasn't an everyday thing, but I knew that if that was even people who worked in ministry, not those ministry of some of them even had their own personal businesses.
Oh yeah, they'll bring it to work.
The
things we do, they'll be selling shoes. So people have boutique.
Oh my god, people! It wasn't the best, and I think that's why as a society we weren't really growing.
Because people will be like, how much are they paying me? I have to have a side hustle. So many things factor into that, because some of those jobs too are not even paying commensurate to what they're asking you for. You'll see the job they are paying 30,000. Somebody's coming from the mainland to the island. They will wear suits, they will wear shoes. Then they will pay them 30,000. They have to have side hustle. You understand? So things like that. But at least here, you can say to an extent, what the work you are doing is commensurate.
It's commensurate with the pay you are getting. And you're working hard for that money. For that money. You're working hard. So anyway. We thank God. Thank God we have jobs.
Thank God for both of them.
Thank God for all the experiences.
For the learning experiences.
Well, this is all we have today.
Yes.
Hope you enjoyed it. Let's know of your own experience. What do you think? Do you prefer working in the diaspora? If you're not in America, if you're in the UK, Canada, wherever you are, you prefer that to working in Nigeria? If you had any Nigerian work experience, or do you just don't care? Was it the same?
I'm here. I don't care. I'm just kidding. Well, all right. You take care.
Thank you so much.
Continue to like, subscribe, comment, share.
We appreciate your support. See you next time. Bye.